So how do secure attachers handle a breakup with an avoidant? Let's get into it. Hi, I'm Amy and welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new here. I'm a certified attachment style coach and I help anxious attachers break the cycle of avoidant and emotionally unavailable partners so that you can really thrive in your independence and prevent future heartbreak. I'm going to talk about the differences between anxious attachers and secure attachers when they have been broken up with by an avoidant partner. And if you're interested in what your attachment style is, I have a free attachment style quiz. The link is in my bio. Those of you who have followed me for a while will know that I was in a 7-year on and off relationship with an avoidant partner. And over the course of that relationship, particularly in the early days of that relationship, I was really on the end of the scale of anxious attached. So if it is that you have suffered a breakup with an avoidant and you feel like you're struggling, you're feeling the rejection, you're feeling the abandonment, I'm here to tell you it's okay and there is a light at the end of the tunnel here. And maybe you've learnt about attachment styles quite recently and you want to know how a securely attached person would handle this situation. And I just want to give you a contrast because as anxious attachers, it feels like sometimes you're living in a goldfish bowl where you're having unwanted reactions to a breakup, but you're not quite sure what the other side of the coin looks like. So when we're looking at anxious attachers and typically how they deal with breakups, their abandonment trauma is severely triggered. And with that, you are going to feel some quite heavy, anxious feelings. You're going to really struggle seeing a future without this person, and your behaviors are going to be driven by this fear. So maybe you're looking at that person's social media. Maybe you're sat by the phone waiting for a text message. Maybe you're the one who's sending walls and walls of text to your ex in the hope that you can convince them to come back. All of these behaviors are driven by this fear of abandonment. And this is because in childhood, you may well have experienced some kind of abandonment in the form of emotional or even physical abandonment by a parent or caregiver. Personally, my parents were emotionally unavailable parents. So I learned at an early age that my feelings don't matter, that love is conditional. And this formed a fear of abandonment when it came to my adult relationships as well. So in contrast to that, my best friend is a securely attached person. So she grew up in a household where all her needs were met, where it was clear that the love that her parents had for her was unconditional. It was a pretty consistent upbringing. So when she went into her adult relationships, her experience was so different to mine. She wasn't racked with this fear of somebody leaving her because she had a really good relationship to herself and she didn't make relationships more important than her own well-being. Now, us anxious attachers put relationships on a pedestal. We believe subconsciously that this relationship is going to finally meet all of those needs that we were missing in our childhoods. But the harsh truth is that no relationship is going to heal your attachment style. No person is going to help you overcome those childhood wounds. You have to do that for yourself. So if it is that you're texting your ex, if it is that you're looking at the social media, I want you to try your best to stop that right now. If you slip up, that's fine. Make it an intention and make it a goal that you are just going to blinker yourself for the time being to work on your own attachment trauma and attachment style. And if you need any help with that, I've developed a really specific blueprint of the exact steps I took to heal from anxious attachment to secure, and it doesn't have to take that long, you guys. If you're interested in that, I do have a few slots available this week. If you email me, my link is in the bio. So the main difference between anxious attached and securely attached after a breakup is that the secure attached individual is not telling themselves painful stories about the breakup. So they're not telling themselves that they weren't good enough. They're not telling themselves that they were rejected or they were unworthy. They're more likely to be telling themselves stories along the lines of, well, this relationship perhaps wasn't right for me anyway, that we perhaps weren't a good match for each other. And what they'll also do is they will assess the relationship objectively. So they will look at the good and the bad side of the relationship. Whereas anxious attachers, when you've just been broken up with, it feels like you can only see the good. You suddenly see this person as the best thing ever, and that they're perfect and I'm not, and I've ruined this perfectly good relationship. Whereas securely attached don't do that. They will look at things objectively. They will weigh up and they will automatically equilibrate their subconscious mind. And what they will also do is be hopeful for the future, which is something that anxious attachers have a really hard time doing. We sort of think, oh my gosh, this is the best I'm going to get. Or I wasn't good enough for this relationship. I don't deserve a relationship that's better than this one. Whereas securely attached just don't do that, because they have a really good sense of self. They have high self-esteem. They don't entangle their self-worth with a relationship. This does not mean that the securely attached is not hurt by a relationship ending. Of course they are. They do have the feelings. They feel their feelings. They don't suppress them. They also don't get carried away in them either. They process their feelings really well. Whereas anxious attachers, we tend to get stuck in this cycle of wanting, of needing, of rejection, of desperation, of longing for this person. And this isn't to say that the securely attached doesn't do this. Of course they do, because when you're in a close relationship with somebody, at some degree, your identity is going to be attached to this relationship. But it's just with anxious attachers, it's a large part of their identity that's attached to a relationship. They start to forget who they are outside of a relationship, whereas the secure attacher doesn't, because they know how to meet their own needs effectively outside of the confines of a relationship. Whereas the anxious attacher doesn't. They see this person as the only thing that's going to meet their needs. So what's the solution to this then, you guys? Because you might know, yeah, I do think that person, I really do believe that person's the only person that can make me feel better. I don't know who I am outside of a relationship. I want to be securely attached, but I'm not. I'm really suffering. So the first thing I want you to do is tell yourself right now that you are absolutely capable of meeting your own needs. Just because you don't know how to right now is okay, but consider the possibility, at least, that you can meet your own needs. And then what I want you to do, which is really difficult but essential, is take the rose-colored glasses off and look at this relationship objectively. Was this person actually meeting your needs? And did they do it consistently? Because I bet that this person was not meeting your needs as well as you think that they were. So look at the needs that you think that they were meeting, assess how effectively they were meeting those needs, and then I want you to think about, how can I meet this need myself in a really healthy way? You're going to start actually connecting with yourself. You're going to start periodically throughout the day asking yourself, what do I need right now? And going ahead and doing it. Because once you can really program your subconscious mind to have its needs met by you, you are going to feel the anxiety and need and want and longing for this person massively reduce, because you are not looking at them anymore to meet a certain need that you've got. And just the simple exercise of checking in with yourself and taking your focus off them onto you is going to start making you feel better. I can promise you that. As anxious attachers, we have a problem being in our lives right now. We tend to be in our heads a lot of the time, particularly when we've been triggered. Be in your life right now. What's happening right now? What can I do to help myself feel better right now? Maybe it's just a cup of tea. Maybe it's taking a bath. Maybe it's phoning a friend. Get used to meeting your needs consistently, because this is what you would have been lacking in childhood. And notice how at the start of the video I explained that the secure attacher had their needs met in childhood, so they grew up knowing how to get their needs met in healthy ways. The anxious attacher didn't, so you're going to do that right now. You're going to start meeting those needs right now. And this is going to become the baseline moving forward, because when you meet somebody who is inconsistent in meeting your needs, who does show you conditional love, you're going to spot that from a mile off and your alarm bells are going to go off. At the moment, the baseline's quite low because you are not somebody who is used to having their needs met. But when you can change that and start doing that for yourself, alarm bells are going to start to ring, because you won't accept treatment that is worse than how you treat yourself. So the better you treat yourself, the less you are going to accept bad treatment. And this is how securely attached people attract securely attached partners. They're meeting somebody who is on the same baseline as them. Whereas the anxious attacher, because your baseline's low, you're attracted to people or attracting people that meet that baseline. So I hope you found that video helpful. If you did, drop a comment below. I do have a self-study course coming available soon, so subscribe to this channel for more information on that, but I will see you next time.